Mhm.
Okay, and we're live, Aaron. Go ahead. So,
All right.
all right. So I'm so excited to introduce to you guys Aaron Crabb. He is a helicopter pilot veteran in the military, and he's going to share his story of how this itty bitty little patch made all the difference in the world when he made the decision to get started on these cell activation patches. Aaron, I know you're super busy. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes, absolutely. Happy to join you. And then I was gonna ask where you'd like me to start because I was trying to recall when our last video chat was from the initial update.
Yeah, that was almost a year ago. So why don't you just, because most people haven't heard, some people have, but the majority haven't because we always have new people coming onto the broadcast. So so how did you, where were you? What was your pain? What were the things that you were struggling with before you discovered this technology that was originally created for the Navy SEALs?
Yes, for sure. And then to help provide a little more insight, I do fly in a helicopter, except I'm part of the helicopter crew in the back. So I don't physically pilot the helicopter. I'm just part of the rescue swimmer crew that flies around.
Fantastic.
And then like you said, it's been almost about 14 months because
Mhm.
I started wearing a patch November of 23, or sorry, November of 22. I mean, and prior to that, with my job uh comes a lot of sitting in the vibrations and sort of things. So the biggest concern was my back and things. And so now a year later, and I don't have any back pain anymore, and I can fly in a helicopter free from that. And that was really the biggest concern. So over the year, I mean, so much has happened. I've gone from no back pain to also almost immediate muscle recovery from working out. Also, I mentioned, and then I got to show you in person this scar on my thumb that started disappearing or diminishing. And and then I think it's gotten about as far as it can from disappearing, but it's definitely soft and hardly noticeable at all. And then to add to that, like the stamina definitely increased. And then I'm trying to think of what else I mentioned before. I did notice that I had some cracking on both of my index fingers on the skin there on the top side, and I noticed that that has gone away too, which was very noticeable before wearing the X39. And then as far as endurance and stamina, that has definitely increased. And I noticed even going out into the sun and forgetting to put sunscreen on, the sunburn has been almost none as far as that goes. So that was something uh, quite fascinating. And then, and then since I last talked to you, I accidentally chopped my right index finger with a hatchet, and I should have sent you the before and after pictures, but within a week and a half, it it was healed up and almost gone, and now my finger looks normal again. So, I mean, when you compare that scar to the other scar that I mentioned was diminishing, this scar I can't even tell it was there. So, and
Oh,
that's just a big testimony to that. Oh, and then to mention too, my left Achilles, I noticed that whenever running and walking around, if I worked out hard on it, it would cause me to limp and kind of hop step. But in the over the past year, I noticed that that has not come back either.
wow. Oh my gosh. So you got to send me the pictures of the of your finger. I can't believe. Oh my gosh. That's must have been horrible. But thank goodness that in a week and a half you were relieved of the pain that could have lasted a few months.
Right. And then to the healing process as well. I mean, that accelerated for sure is something that I noticed.
How's your sleep also been? Because in the military, there's a big demand on your time, your energy, and sleep is a precious commodity. So how's your sleep been in comparison from before to now?
Yeah, it's a good question. And something that I noticed is I would have spots where I'd be sitting talking with people and I would fall asleep on them, or driving home after a long workday, I would kind of get drowsy. And that was a big concern between for me and my wife. And I have noticed a big improvement as far as the alertness and being able to stay awake. And I've been sleeping really well the past year as well, for sure.
Wow, that's absolutely fantastic. Okay, have you noticed anything also with your senses, with your sense of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and even sensory perception, like maybe your peripheral vision and your just awareness?
But I would can imagine that would have improved. I mean, to put my finger on it before wearing the patch up till now, I can't say objectively that I have improved in that area, but I mean, looking at the research, the patents, the studies that have been done on X39, I can only imagine that that has increased, even though I haven't personally noticed it.
Okay. Yeah, oftentimes it's amazing how so often I have people who are on the patches, and especially with married couples, you'll have the one or the other will remind you. It's like, oh, remember you used to have a tooth abscess. Remember you used to have this. They're like, oh yeah, that's right. I had that when I started on them. Totally forgot about that. So it's amazing. It's hard to remember everything. We have so many things that go on in our body, and the brain, the mind, and our perception of things sometimes is very interesting, because sometimes we only pay attention to our largest pain points, and those other pain points in comparison, they're so much smaller compared to the big ones, that we forget the smaller ones, because when the big ones go away, so do the small ones.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely fantastic. Well, gosh, Aaron, is there something that you wish you would have known before you got started on the patches that you would like other people to know about now that they're hearing about this for the first time?
I would say that definitely being patient as far as if you aren't feeling something, because for myself, I would consider it pretty good health and going along and then observing the changes that you don't feel like that scar that started kind of diminishing, and
Mhm.
then the endurance and being able to perform well working out, or just daily life activities and things that you don't see, that is a big advocate to keep that in mind, because this is a change over time. And when you deal with holistic healing, this isn't an immediate fix overnight thing for some people. And for me, I kind of had that expectation going in, because we're very holistically minded and trying to heal the body naturally. And so that patient aspect was kind of already there, but I'd say for a lot of people, just keeping that in mind.
So would you say that going in with the mindset of like, I'm going to invest in myself and in my health over the next 12 months, every day I'm going to commit to, just like I brush my teeth every day and I feed myself food and I bathe myself, I'm going to apply my patches every day, 12 hours, 12 hours on, and then remember to, I always tell people to set an alarm that says remove patches, 12 hours later, just as you have one that says to apply them, because this is something that we all do for ourselves. Wouldn't you agree, Aaron?
Wholeheartedly. And when you consider what you do for other things and taking care of your car and investing in that, you're really investing in yourself. And you aren't going to invest in your car for one day and everything. So, when you take an approach like that and look at it, then you're really helping yourself up for the future. And you're working on a prevention mindset instead of a reaction mindset, to address things that happen, or when they happen. Instead of doing that, you're addressing them before they happen.
Before they have it. Yeah, so that's a great point that you're bringing out, because so often we talk about things that need to be repaired or restored when people start on the patches, but you're bringing up a fabulous point about preventing, because as your body then starts to get into balance and it starts to regenerate itself, there comes a point where now it's just preventing anything from going wrong inside your body, because it's a good maintenance call, like you said. It's just like you do things to maintain your car to prevent yourself from being stalled at the side of the road. You're going to do an oil
Right.
loop filter and the scheduled maintenance and so forth. So the same thing is true with your body. Because everybody's body, every mammal ages, right? And so the people who take better care of their bodies have less aging than those who don't. And this really is a fabulous technology, life-saving technology to not only repair, restore, and regenerate, but also to reverse age the body. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree. And taking things step by step and just having a patient mindset. I was thinking of David Schmidt when he was going over just the longevity and just taking control of your health and doing something to take care of yourself. That way you can take care of others, because if you don't have your health, you don't have anything.
Yeah. Yeah, your health is your wealth. So let's talk just really briefly before we let you go, and so that we continue on with this. I want to talk about the aspect of you being in that helicopter, because I think there's a lot of people that find themselves in similar situations, whether they're in helicopters as a pilot or as part of the crew, or people who are in planes or in trains or in, 18-wheeler trucks. Make no mistakes, those vibrations that are constant on the body, the discs in your back, in your spinal column, they do make it does take a toll, and it starts to wear out those different discs in your spine. That was the issue that you were faced with, correct?
That's right. Yes, and then in there you deal with the whole body vibrations whenever you're sitting in there for the hours on end. And an average flight is about 3 to 5 hours that we usually do, and you do that 5 days a week. It adds up really quick.
Yeah, so that's 15 to 20 hours of constant vibration. And that's not just of course, your spinal column, because that's your stabilizing force of the body, but it's going to affect all of your joints, because all of the joints, are going to be vibrating. And so that cartilage and that tissue is going to wear out over time just because of the vibration. So that's something to think about for people who are out there who are in any type of job where you have any kind of vibration that's going on, whether you're inside some sort of vehicle, maybe it's a tow truck, or maybe you're driving, some sort of construction equipment. Construction equipment, those motors, they rumble and they vibrate too. And so there's a whole host of people that are not knowing that those vibrations are their bodies are paying a price, but we can unring the bell of damage through this regenerative medicine class 1 medical device that's FDA registered, made here in the USA, although we have 12 distribution centers throughout the world. Anything else you want to share with people?
I'd be happy to share one additional thing. When the person that helped me find out about the patch, I was unaware of light technology of this sort. But then whenever I was told about it, I was talking with my wife and said, the only thing I have to lose is pain or bad health. So gave it a run, and here I am about 13, 14 months later, and we talk about longevity and continuing on. I don't plan on not wearing a patch anytime soon. So
Yeah, yeah. So, and what's the number one reason for not wanting to ever stop wearing the patch? Because if you're already healthy and fine and things are feeling good, why would you not? Why do you want to continue to wear the patch?
well, it goes back to, if you have a brand new car, are you going to stop getting oil changes after the first 10,000 miles? Or
True. That's very true. That's crystal clear. Okay. That is a beautiful, I think, word picture and thing to leave our viewers and our audience with. So I want to thank you for sharing that with us. We're going to go ahead and get started on the actual info Q&A and how this life-saving technology works. Let me share my screen here with you guys. And so here we are. So I like to talk about the Fantastic Five. We are going to focus on the X39. For those of you who want to learn about all five we actually have 11 patches, but we're going to focus right now just on the 39. And then tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific time, that would be 10 p.m. Eastern time, if you want to join us at that time, for the balance of the information so that you can learn about the patches that take care of the primary systems of the body. You're more than welcome to join us then, or if you're ready to get started, we can always give that to you, information on a one-on-one. So our disclaimer is that the patches are not intended to treat, prevent, or cure any disease, because we do not heal, cure, treat, or diagnose, nor do we offer any protocols. These suggestions don't replace the diagnosis and treatment by a qualified licensed healthcare professional. We strongly recommend you consult with your doctor. That being said, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration last August, September, because we get inspected every 2 years because we are in FDA registered facilities, and they took the position that all claims surrounding stem cells and healing, even those from natural products, will be regarded as drug claims. So they also assert that claiming that the use of light to elevate peptides such as GHKCU is inappropriate for a general wellness product. So as of the fall until December 31st, they said we couldn't say that, even though we have 90 clinical studies in the United States, Europe, and Asia that actually show that. However, apparently that all lifted as of the first of this year. But I'm not 100% sure that all the FDA agents out there, because that's a large organization, that they all got that memo. So until I know with absolute certainty that we don't need to put that disclaimer anymore, I will continue to do so for the greater good of all. So it's good to know that in 73, Dr. Lauren Picard, he was the discoverer that GHKCU copper peptide activates 1/3, that's 33% of your previously dormant stem cells, turning your genes to a younger, healthier state. So that's 4,192 genes that were prior dormant. They're now turned back on. And so that brings us to the question of what are stem cells? Well, they're pluripotent cells. What's pluripotent? That means that it has many potentials because the word pluri means plural, potent, potential. So any one of those master smart cells actually have 100% of all the information and programming that you need from conception until you take your very last breath. And you can see that it can make anything that you need in your body, inside or out. And when you're conceived, your mother's ovum unites with your father's sperm. At conception, you now have complete information to the tune of 23,688 genes and stem cells. And it's good to note that by the time you're 30 years old, 50% turn off. Not because they're damaged or destroyed or they disappear. It's just that they go dormant as a function of aging until you apply this stem cell activation patch on your skin, which are really acting like little solar panels. But more on that in just a second. So think about your body as a home. Just like you have a house that's a structure, your body is your home. It's your temporary housing unit. And inside the body, you have stem cells. And those cells are like printer ink cartridges. And when you have brand new ink cartridges with 100% of ink, then you make a copy, which is indistinguishable from the original. But when you've used up 70, 80, 90% of the ink in a cartridge, and you only have 10 or 20% left, the copy is a faded version of the original, just like with your stem cells. When you only have 10 or 20% left, now the copy of those new cells are like faded versions of that original. And so how do the patches work? If you were to touch your face, if you were to touch your neck, you would feel your arm, you feel that there's warmth. That warmth, that temperature is evidence of the infrared light that you have inside your body. We are light beings, literally, not just because the mystics from thousands of years ago said so, but science is the contemporary language of mysticism, and science is about 300 years old. We can now measure without a shadow of a doubt. In fact, I have a BioWell machine where I can stick your hand in and measure the joules of energy that are in every organ of the body and every organ system of the body. And here you have a spectrograph that actually shows you the electrical current, the infrared light inside your body, because the electricity inside you is that band of light, infrared, just like the sun, which is 42% infrared. That light is then going to bounce off of the patch, which is acting just like a diamond crystal. So if you look at a diamond crystal and I were to shine a flashlight on it, you would see that the reflection of the light would bounce back to your eyes, reflecting the prism colors of that crystal, right? Same thing happens with this patch. You see this patch? The outer edge is the adhesive, and in the middle, that white dot isn't a white dot. In fact, it's crystals. They're organic sugar crystals, organic salt crystals, organic hydrogen, oxygen, water crystals, and a proprietary blend of organic amino acids. And then they're arranged in a very geometrical lattice work, and they're programmed to a specific frequency so that this patch, which is the mother activation patch, gives you certain effects, which I'm going to show you the bullet points in just a moment. It's good to note that while phototherapy has been defined as the use of ultraviolet light for its healing effects, these patches have been specifically developed to reflect light in the infrared and visible light bands back onto the skin where the patch has been placed. So supported by normal electrodermal skin conductance, the human body gives off a number of materials biochemically, including particulate release, gas emission, ultraviolet, infrared, near infrared, and visible spectrum light. This then stimulates that area of the skin of wherever the patch is placed, producing improved physiological effects. And so variations on phototherapy have been used for at least 100 years or more. In that time, we've had little evidence of any negative side effects. So if you look back to the very first documented use of photobiomodulation, which photo means light, biobiology, because we're biological beings, right? Modulation simply means movement and change. So the first documented case was 1895 when Niels Ryberg Finsen, who in 1903, he won the Nobel Prize for his research on using red light to treat tuberculosis of the skin. In his experiments with mice, he found that exposing them to red light reduced both their symptoms and mortality rate from lupus vulgaris. Pretty impressive if you think about that. 1903, we're in 2024. Pretty spectacular. I want you to notice also that these are FDA registered. Notice that these are non-transdermal. That means that nothing transfers into your skin, so nothing is being absorbed. They're non-invasive. They're organic, holistic, FDA compliant class 1 medical devices under the general wellness category, which is a very big umbrella. We manufacture our products at FDA registered facilities in the US, and our facility in Ireland is registered with the Irish Medicine Board. We manufacture our products to the same standards as a medical device, and our facility in Ireland is ISO 9001 and ISO 13485. That's a quality standard. Super important to drink 50% your weight in fluid ounces of water. Because your DNA is primarily made up of water. Your DNA, in fact, is 92% composed of water. It's the primary structure that holds up your DNA is water. And your DNA is an energy amplifier. Do you know that? Makes sense. If it's 92% water, it's almost all water. Everybody knows not to wet their hands and then touch a light socket because you'll get electrocuted, right? Because water is an incredible conductor of electricity, right? Same thing is true with your DNA. It is an energy amplifier, which makes total sense. So when you're 2% dehydrated, you'll notice that at 2%, you will feel thirst in your mouth. At 8%, look what happens at 8%. Here's a properly hydrated DNA strand. You can see that the helix is properly structured. At 8%, your DNA starts to unravel. It literally starts to fall apart. Isn't that horrific? DNA starting to fall apart. That's when you start to have symptoms. That's the beginning of disease, all sorts of illness, all sorts of things that are not going right in your body. 10% dehydration, you lose your mind. 12% dehydration, you're dead. Nobody can survive 12% dehydration. Game over. Too bad. So sad. The thing to know is that these patches are going to be worn 12 hours every day, 12 hours on and then 12 hours off. So you're matching 12 hours of signaling from sunrise to sunset. You're going to match it with the matching 12 hours of sunset to sunrise. Because just as we are beings that we have daytime and nighttime, right? And we are Bluetooth to the circadian rhythms of the earth as well as the sun. And so we are going to match the 12 hours that we signal with 12 hours of rest, repair, and restore. We have the sympathetic nervous system when we're awake, and the parasympathetic system, which is the rest and digest. Both equally important. So signaling, can you imagine driving your car always in fifth gear at 150 miles an hour and never downshifting? You would blow up that engine. You have to let the engine cool off before you go back up to third, fourth, and fifth gear. Same thing is true with your body. You need to allow that rest and digest parasympathetic system to do its rest, repair, and restore. So, by the way, your fibroblasts, believe it or not, your fibroblasts begin to decline when you're just barely 25 years of age in their production of collagen. Again, collagen is the #1 building block protein of the body inside and out. And these patches activate your P63 protein to do this rapid repair and restoration. So we got this gal here who had scoliosis. She came to us, and after 4 weeks of wearing the patches, she's got her mother activation patch here, and then she's got Ice Wave, which is the only patch we have that doesn't repair anything. This is the only patch that just turns off pain receptors. And this patch helps reduce pain. The Ice Wave actually physically turns off your pain receptors. It's used actually right now in 5 hospitals in France alone. And so you can clearly see she's got a higher left than right shoulder. She's slanted to the left. She's got an extreme curvature of the spine. Her scapula are pronounced. And 4 weeks later, her spine is much, much straighter. Her shoulders are balanced. Her pain is gone. And you can see how she now has an hourglass figure. Whereas here, she only had one side a cinched waist, and on the left, it was a little straighter. So you can see that it marked improvement. Here we have a gentleman who had a challenge with the production of melanin throughout his skin. And so you could see over the course of 12 months, it took time. 3 months later, he still had missing melanin in different parts of his face. And I would imagine the rest of his body too. And 12 months later, his skin is now even. The fine lines and wrinkles along his forehead are gone. He looks much more rejuvenated. Okay. Here we have Kathy McCarthy, who lives in Nevada. She's a professional skydiver, and she suffered for 33 years with autoimmune disorder. And that was as a result of 3 breast implants. And over 33 years, there was really nothing that she found that the doctors were doing to help alleviate her symptoms, to slow down the progression of the autoimmune disorder that she was getting from the breast implants. And things were just getting infinitely worse for her until she started on the patches on January of 2022. And so we told her, make sure you get pictures now before you get started, and every 30 days day after. And she did that, luckily. And lo and behold, you'll see that from January to March to June, just 6 months, no wrinkles, just a hint of lines. And in July, the fine lines and wrinkling is gone. And this is legitimately what you will see, what she looks like when you watch the video on my YouTube channel. It's incredible because you see how, when you do a Zoom just like this, I can't alter the look of my face. I can't change my hair color or do anything like that. So you actually see that she matches this photograph and these over here as well. My story, I was hit by a bus just 3 blocks shy of completing a 16-mile bike ride, and I suffered brain damage. And I also, because the point of impact was behind my head and my lower back, I suffered a neck injury. My C5, C6 discs were damaged, as well as my L1, L5. And I had a laceration from my ankle to my knee, right along the shin bone. Super miserable. Took over a year for it to close. That was really, really miserable. I couldn't understand why a month or 2 later it still hadn't closed. It was a mess. It was terrible. However, I'm proud. I'm not going to go through all this because I had horrible insomnia, really loud tinnitus, blurry vision, all sorts of other. I had lesions on my skin, on my chest. I don't know why just on my chest. It was my chest a little bit, my torso, but really, luckily, it didn't get on my face. It was really a miserable experience. Very, very painful, as you can only imagine. I had 0 short-term memory also. All of that got repaired and restored. My memory came back like within 4 weeks. I had the best memory I'd ever had in my entire life, my entire academic career. It was really quite astonishing. And if you look here, you can also notice that my hair in 4 months, it took 4 months to fill in the bald spot that was the size of it was the size of my palm. For 5 years, that was bald. And things I had gotten prescriptions at compound pharmacies, nothing had worked until I was on the patches. 4th month, 70% hair growth and about 3 to 4 inches of hair length. Now it's all grown out, thank goodness. And I continue. You can tell now I'm having another little bunch of hair growing because now I have a tuft of hair here that because it's new hair growth. You can tell here also I had some little hairs growing, kind of sticking up. I've got more new hair here on my hairline's kind of a little bit farther down too. Again, it's improved hair growth. Here we have Gail Henry, who had a significant curvature of the spine, and she had a folded flesh because of that pronounced curvature and some oxidative stress. You could see moles, freckles, age spots, cholesterol spots on her back. Look at how much straighter her fold of her skin is gone. Her pain was gone in less than 2 months. Look at also how much clearer her skin is. A lot of the freckles and the moles are gone. Not 100%, but just 2 months. This is a pretty significant improvement. So this patch, we're about wrapping it up here, and then we will open this up to some questions. Talk about this patch. You apply this little patch anywhere where you have skin. In fact, it works even on your hair, on top of your head. Resets a third of your genes to a younger, healthier state. Regenerates cells, replacing damaged cells. Restores collagen, rebuilds scarred tissue, reduces fine lines and wrinkles. Increases energy, sexual libido, antioxidants, anti-aging, anti-inflammation. Gives you pain relief 50 to 100% within 3 to 4 minutes. It improves your hair growth. And also gives you deeper, sounder sleep because it gives you REM. REM, rapid eye movement sleep, which is a more profound, deeper, better quality sleep. We don't have protocols, but we do have recommendations. We advise you to apply them on acupuncture points because we want to magnify the effects of the patches on the body. So we recommend on your neck bump where your brainstem actually branches out down into your spinal column, signaling through your spinal column, your autonomic nervous system. And then the second spot would be below your belly button. Each one of the patches do come with their own little instruction booklet that looks something like this. This is the one for energy enhancer, which was the first patch invented for the Navy SEALs. Enhances energy, improves your heart rate variability, as well as your lymphatic system. Of course, I'm going to remind you again to drink 50% your weight, fluid ounces of water. And I just want to point out that this mother stem cell activation patch increases your glutathione levels by 30%. So it says in the research that 12 hours of daily use over a period of 4 weeks produced a highly significant improvement in physiologic functional status of all these organs. Check this out: pancreas, liver, gallbladder, intestines, left and right adrenals, hypothalamus, pituitary, with a significant improvement in your pancreas of at least 72%. So stated differently, it says all organs achieved significant improvement, basically, with an improvement with a statistical power of at least 91%. That is really a significant, that's almost 100%, 91. Again, well, by the way, remember to drink your water every day. Also, I want to let you guys know that patches help unring the bell of blue light toxicity. Blue light toxicity, that's coming from your desktop, laptop, notepad, iPad, cell phone. You're watching this broadcast on whatever social media platform, and that device is giving you blue light toxicity in addition to the LED lights that you have in your home, because the light bulbs now in all homes and businesses, places of work, they're all LED lights. Your kitchen, your bathroom, everything is LED lights. Think about your refrigerator, your coffee pot, your cappuccino maker, your Ninja, your food processor, your microwave oven, your oven. They all have blue lights, and those cause blue light toxicity that destroys, believe it or not, your DHEA, fountain of youth, until you apply this patch. And then you can reverse that. You can unring the bell of that damage and increase your DHEA fountain of youth hormone. LED lights also cause inflammation in the body and insulin resistance. And it causes basically inside each cell, you have a tiny little organ called mitochondria. Kind of looks like this. Here it's dissected from the inside. That is what produces energy in your body by something called ATP. Well, the blue light breaks those, it dysregulates them. That's the beginning of you starting to have, whatever organ system is the weakest link in your body is going to be affected in that case. So it's good to know that this is a way of repairing that and unringing the bell of that damage. But how much does this cost? Well, we can't charge you $1 million, and you know that regular stem cell therapy, you can't even get it less. You have to leave the country, right? And you have to travel, and it's like 8 to 11 to as high as 25. Just spoke to another girl not last week, but the week before, $25,000 per IV session, and I believe she had 3 or 4 IV sessions. That's a lot of money to pay. And in her case, it wasn't even her original stem cells, it was donor stem cells, which with donor stem cells, you only have a 50% acceptance and a 50% rejection rate. You're not going to reject your own programming, your own stem cell. That's your own body.
Hey, happy to be here.
Yeah.
Happy to be able to help out.
So I want to make sure that you find out that the price of these patches, you can get started for as little as, these is $5 a day. You can get the Fantastic 5 for as much as $11 a day. We can show you how you can bring that price down almost 50% if you're willing to buy a few months in advance. So for those who are interested, you can take a screenshot if you'd like of this. This is my Dr. Wholesale form. So you can see that the gold pack is here, 5 sleeves. You can get started with the Fantastic 5. They'll give you $300 wholesale. That's $450 worth of free product that they give you here when you get this gold pack. You can get it for the Dr. Wholesale price of $4.99. If you just go straight to the website, the person who referred you to this video, of course, then you will pay the retail price, right? But we can show you how you can get that for a bit significantly less, actually, because you save instead of $149 for one of these, you pay $99, so they drop to $100 a piece, and that's only the first month. After the first month, it drops to $329 or $99, although we have bundle packs, so it's a little bit less than that as well. So you can learn more and read our 90 clinical studies if you're so inclined. You can just simply go to startx39now.com. To get started, we just need to be able to fill out this form and then, of course, enter it into our back office. For our busy professionals who don't have time to get on a Zoom call immediately and they just want to get started right away, you can just ask for the to get started text. So we'll be asking you these questions in order to fill this out to go ahead and ship you whatever it is that you need. And then you can send us what your list of symptoms are and we can match the patches that are appropriate for you. This is the to get started text line. You can just call this number. If you need anything, just call this number. It's not hooked up to a system per se. The only thing it does is it does transcribe voicemail messages into text to me, and then I have to literally reply on my cell phone on it. So give me 24 to get back to you guys. Okay. To watch this recording, you can go to damelillianwalker.com, which points to my YouTube channel called Love and Money Secrets TV. You can always see the replays and the stories of transformation there. And I also have a lot of how-tos, how to apply this patch for knee pain, how to, et cetera, et cetera. So, and there's stories, a lot of testimonials there as well. These are the bullet points in case somebody wants to take a quick snapshot of the bullet points. And I want you to remember to get back. Oh, by the way, remember to get back to the person who referred you to this broadcast to get your questions answered and to get started. I would never tell you what to do. I would never tell you to order today or to get started. However, I will say this, you can't get yesterday back. For every day that goes by, we all get older. Even a newborn baby gets older. You can't get yesterday back. So it just makes sense to me to get started today. There is a 30-day money back guarantee, so there's no risk. And again, this is the best investment that you can make in your health and well-being. Any questions from anybody here? I'm going to check here as well as on YouTube. All right, so if we have no questions, I will let you guys go. It's 2:48 p.m. We went a little bit longer than I anticipated, but I think it was well worth it. All right, my friends and gems, I'm going to say ciao for now. I hope to see you at 7 p.m. if you want to learn about the Fantastic Five, where we go over, stop my screen share here. We'll be going over the mother, the daughter, glutathione, and I'll tell you why it's better. You know, why taking glutathione orally? There's something that kills glutathione when you take it orally. So you'll discover that when you watch our 7 p.m. How's that? And we have carnosine and eon. So these are the three master antioxidants, and these are the dynamic duo. Together, they make the Fantastic Five. Thanks for tuning in, tapping in, turning on. And as always, ciao for now, my friends and gems. Make it a great day, especially those days that end in Y.